Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer joins me today to unpack the latest news in the mining industry. Welcome, Martin.
Hi, Stephanie.
Can you tell us about Menar awaiting Competition Commission approval following its bid for the large Metalloys ferromanganese facility in Meyerton?
This is fantastic news. You know, South Africa used to be the world's biggest producer of ferromanganese. So you're adding value to manganese that we've got in the ground here. And what you're exporting becomes far easier. You're not doing bulk exporting. You're doing beneficiated product exporting, which is what we always wanted to do. Eskom performed so badly. Not only did they increase the price of electricity, but they became unreliable. As a result of that, you know, very nice infrastructure, like you see at Metalloys when you go to Meyerton, had to be put on care and maintenance. Now Menar has come back, and what is in need of approval is the competition side of things, and that could even happen before the end of this year, but probably hopefully earlier and early next year. You know, if that happens and they can get going again with that ferromanganese, it's going to be so good for South Africa. So it seems that the energy side will change. You know, the on-site is a gas-fired power station, which they will revive. They're looking at also using solar power and then getting baseload continued from Eskom. You know, talking to Eskom about helping out with getting this going again. And I'm fairly optimistic. You know, Menar is a very active private investor. And once they get going on something, they mean business. And they're looking to next year to try and get this going. Be fantastic for South Africa.
And while the long-term outlook for platinum demand is robust, there are concerns around supply.
You know, can you believe this? Here you have demand that's robust, and this is reported as a long-term situation this week by the World Platinum Investment Council. Supply, a big question mark over that. Surely in all mining areas, we know that leads to a high price of product. Why does that not happen when it comes to platinum group metals? Why is it that the price remains down? Now, you know, I think a big investigation needs to be done into this, because these above ground stocks that they say are resulting in the price staying down all the time, where are they? Who's got them? How big are they? You know, let's not have estimates about this. Let's really see what's going on. Why is the price controlled outside of the country, you know, in the US, and in a way that's so opaque? So we once had a call from a mathematician in Australia, and he came through and he said, guys, wake up. You know, there's something fairly strange about this. If you look at it and do the calculations, what's happening there with the buying and selling? You know, you should look into it. So we went to just about every platinum group metal company in South Africa and said to their marketing side, you know, this fellow is concerned. Are you concerned? What is happening? No, everything's fine. But I don't think everything is fine. And also, you know, possibly the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is a much better place to have a site to control these prices so that we can see what's going on. We are the big hosts of platinum group metals, and it's not being managed in a way that reflects to the credit of South Africa. And it's about time they put their heads together and started saying, you know, what is happening with all this? Let's make sure that when there is huge demand and deficits, why is the price not showing properly at a level that makes things viable?
And finally, there are thoughts that South Africa could be a leading player in hydrogen and fuel cells.
Yes, so the Mapungubwe Institute this week, you know, had a meeting around platinum group metals, and speaker after speaker, a lot of them academics, came through with the high potential that South Africa has to develop, you know, the platinum metals industry to a point where you're producing fuel cells, you're producing hydrogen. The potential is all there. But in reality, it's not happening. So, you know, all the time they're looking at projects. You look at the hydrogen truck that we had that is platinum based, and they started developing it. You don't hear much about it anymore. You then see they mentioned the Hydrogen Valley We thought, well, there's going to be travel around here. You don't hear much about that. Mitochondria, which is far smaller, not listed, you hear a lot about what they're doing and what their plans are in Vereniging. But, the bigger companies are not being transparent at the moment, possibly because the prices are so bad, but still, they should be looking longer than just the current cycle. You've got Hive Hydrogen looking to do something big in the Eastern Cape, but one has to pursue them. They don't come forward with information. You've got to keep pursuing. And the same is with Toyota, BMW, Anglo. They were working on a joint project. We've all mentioned this, but you don't have follow-ups. I'm looking at the hydrogen roadmap. There's a military hospital here that works on a fuel cell with hydrogen. We've got forklifts in Springs going on hydrogen. And so there's a roadmap, there's Buchubai, there's projects. We need more voice. We need some champion to start leading this, because everybody can see that the potential is huge. We see final investment decisions outside the country. Every day you hear, you read of a final investment decision on green hydrogen, platinum-based, PEM fuel cells, all the way, but nothing really strong here. So let's have a champion. Let's get going on this. And I think the big platinum companies must do something. We see that some of them have gone off on dream projects outside of the country, absolute dreams. They've been sitting on them and faffing around with them. They get bad press outside the country, but they do nothing proper here. Who is the leader here? Come on, let's get going.
Thanks for speaking with us, Martin.
Great pleasure, Sashni.
That's it for today. Join us again next week for more news analysis on the local and global mining industries. And don't forget to listen to the audio version of our Mining Weekly daily email newsletter.